You're listening to All Things Transformers, version 2.0.
Surprise for you, son.
No, Dad! Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I am. You're not getting a Porsche.
Let me tell you something, son. A driver don't pick the cars. Cars pick the driver. It's a mystical bond between man and machine.
What you're about to see is totally classified.
Dear God, what is this? We're under attack!
We're facing war against a technological civilization far superior to our own. Our enemy can take any shape. They could be anywhere.
It's a robot. You know, like a super advanced robot. It's probably Japanese.
No!
I'll drive, you shoot!
You have to get the car. Trust me.
Bring it!
Okay, I'll do it normal. Hello and welcome to All Things Transformers, episode 42. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me again this week is the same panel as last week.
That's right. We're all here.
I'm still here.
I still got pants.
Hey, how's it going?
Wow.
Wow.
All right.
I do not have pants.
This week we are here to talk about the Bayverse, the Michael Bay Transformers live-action movies. The first thing I want to say about this whole debacle of a franchise is that
It's terrible.
no,
in
It's not what I was
the
gonna
immortal words of Sam Witwicky, no.
Or Admiral Akbar. It's a trap!
It's a trap!
Sam Witwicky did not say it's a trap, though. Although I might feel better about the whole thing if he had.
No. Okay, the one thing I will say that yes, these movies make a lot of fucking money. Yes.
That's right.
Yes, these movies get the mainstream audience to notice the brand of Transformers. Yes, Michael Bay doesn't give a shit about the fans. for the most part.
And you act surprised about any of these revelations?
No, not at all.
When your money makes more money than God, you can thumb your nose at the fans as well.
And that's what he basically said after this film came out and everybody started bashing it.
Well, I will say that the second film and the third film do have a number of G1 references. The second film is essentially the G1 episode of The Solar Needle.
Yeah, there's only one reference in the fourth film. And
Yeah,
it's a
there
name.
are no references.
There's this and that, but I'll pick at it later.
Yeah.
I really sat through that with a fucking, notepad writing shit down, let me tell you.
I watched it on the internet because it wasn't worth going to see.
And I agree with you. I should have done that too. But I had a free ticket, and it was the critic viewing.
Okay, if it's free ticket and you have a critic view, then I would have gone.
To see it 3 days before everyone else, I'll dig that.
All right, so back in 2007, oh my God.
I know, eh?
7 years ago.
Children were born since then.
Oh.
Yes.
I recorded on TF Wire about Transformers the movie at that time.
Yeah. I wasn't even podcasting back then.
I think my child was born about that
Jesus
time.
Christ.
There you go.
Kid's about 7 now.
Which one? Gavin or Aiden?
Aiden.
Aiden was born in 2007?
Well, no, Aiden, no, I think he was born...
Come on, get this right now.
I know, I gotta think about it. I think he was born in 2006.
Oh,
because, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because he was, I'm trying to remember. In 2008, he was 2 in 2000. Almost.
Okay, yeah, anyway.
Anyway,
so,
worst father ever. Yeah.
Yes, you are. So, I was highly skeptical. I saw the trailer, and as much as I love Peter Cullen, as much as I love him as his voice is Optimus Prime. First of all, you don't fucking have Mr. Smith from the Matrix movies as Megatron. That's just wrong in so many levels.
Especially when he growls and doesn't give a rat's ass about anything he's actually cast in. He's just a big money whore.
If
that's why in like Captain America he's like, fuck that, I'm not coming back. And then Transformers he's like, fuck that, I'm not coming back.
If Hugo Weaving were around when they were casting a certain Bat Signal film in 2005, I could really see him as the Christian Bale Batman, but that's a whole other show. His voice grew on me after a while. I still don't like it. The first film, I saw it in theaters. It was alright. Megan Fox is one of the ugliest women on earth.
I don't know about that.
Alright, you gotta screw loose, dude. But
no, I don't.
She's not the hottest on earth.
She's a horrible actress, but I don't know about ugly.
She's good looking, but she's a terrible actress.
She's great for porn, But I mean, porn stars aren't good actresses,
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing.
Well, she did audition by washing Michael Bay's car, so.
There you go.
That's true. I think it's I don't know if it was the way the second film was shot or whatever else, but the whole scene with her putting her hands over her mouth when they're hiding. Only thing I can think of is that Seinfeld episode with that chick with man hands.
Yeah, she has horrible hands.
Yeah.
She has that one thumb that looks like...
The first film, they try to build character for humans, but they build it so poorly. Shia LaBeouf can't act his way out of a paper bag. He was fine he was fine when he was a Disney Channel star. Now that he's in all these big budget blockbuster movies, he
finish your thought and
he just doesn't.
Well, I'm saving it all in.
He just doesn't act properly, and like Michael said earlier, it's like no. All he does in these 3 films is scream, whine, bitch, and complain.
No. That was a bad pun, but
yes,
he had more emotion and more range than 2 of the characters specifically in the new film. Because honestly, I couldn't tell you anything about him.
Are you really siding with Movie Revolt Dan on Shia LaBeouf versus Mark Wahlberg?
No, I'm talking about the other two, the Jack
Oh.
Rayner and the other chick that didn't do anything. She
Oh,
just stood there,
okay.
like she was worse than Megan Fox and the underwear model that was in the third one. But Mark Wahlberg, I'd say is better for the action aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's playing the same character he plays in everything else. I mean, it's really no different. This we'll get to the fourth film later, but the
first film.
The first film, I think, was kind of monumental and instrumental to bringing the revival of Transformers, much in the vein of how, I mean, granted, it went in a totally batshit terrible direction after this. Granted, I wasn't perfectly thrilled with everything in this film, but it didn't leave a sour taste in my mouth like the rest of the films have. But it did what Beast Wars did for the franchise back in the 90s, is it revived it. So I mean, it's I love the fact that they gave us the nod of bringing Cullen back, and he was still pretty close to his original Optimus Prime before they mutated him. You can only die so many times before you don't come back as the same person. Proceed.
What about you, Michael, with the first film? What were your initial thoughts?
Well, I was at BotCon, I forget, it had to have been 2007.
Well, yeah, that's when
yeah,
the movie
had to have been
came
2007.
out.
Yeah, but I was at the BotCon where they actually showed us the movie a few days earlier.
Yep.
And they had two separate theaters, and in my theater, Tyrese Gibson came in.
Yep.
And waved and said, "Hey, everybody," and then I think he left. But or he may have sat down and watched the movie. I don't know.
Went to the dealer room after, actually, but yeah.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Because it was probably a ghost town, right?
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Yeah, but we watched the movie as a group of Transformer fans, and everybody loved it. It was, I mean, even Shia LaBeouf, you know, I mean, it was like, hey, this is great. This is the start of something new and very interesting, and you know, Optimus Prime says freedom is the right of all sentient beings, and everybody freaks out. You know, everyone in the theater knew the characters and
Everyone
cheered
knew
at the right point, and yeah, and everyone enjoyed it at the same point. It wasn't the same vibe when I saw it in a different theater with a different group of people. So when I saw it for the first time, it was like, wow, that's amazing, that's incredible. When I saw it with my aunt, you know, at a smaller venue, it was like, yeah, okay, this is all right, you know. And I didn't grow to dislike the Sam character until at least the second movie, and then the third movie just kind of killed it for me. I mean, that this character is entitled, hyperactive, just obnoxious to a fault, and it's just no fun watching him do his thing. And gosh, to the point where I was watching the third movie with my kids today, and just it's like, wait a minute, let me get this straight now. He's sleeping with a supermodel, but he can't get a job, and he's whining because he saved the world twice. I can't relate to this guy. You know, I just have no point of contact here with this guy at all. I don't get it. I'm very confused as to what's going on.
You whiny son of a bitch!
It's like you just want to smack him and say, "Shut up!" You know, it's like just God. Yeah, I'm told, because I haven't actually seen the new movie yet, but I'm told that there is a marked improvement in the franchise without Shia LaBeouf.
Yes, there is, because they get rid of. Let's see. Here's the thing, and then I'll let Proto Man go, because I know Proto Man has a lot to say about.
Well, just the first one. The first one, I don't have much, but it's afterwards. But yeah.
Yeah. With the new one, with the current fourth film, Michael Bay pretty much, there is comedy in it, but it's not the Revenge of the Fallen comedy. They
That's
pretty
not
much
comedy.
get rid.
It's bad.
It's bad sodomy.
Yes.
No lubrication with this one. It's just,
Lubrication, Starscream.
God, stop it. There is a comedic sidekick in the. Shut up, Megatron. There is a comedic sidekick in the very beginning of the movie, but he dies instantly. So Michael Bay basically kills off the human sidekick.
Awesome.
He turns him into liquid energon.
Let's put it this
Nice.
way: when that
liquid
happened, I turned to my friend and I said, "Thank fucking God."
That guy's such
Because
a
I was like,
terrible
if this son of a bitch is going to be in the movie for the next 3 hours, I'm going to lose my shit. But anyways,
it's gonna be like Shia's roommate in the second film.
oh,
I was
God,
going to say,
Leo,
Shia's
Leo.
Why was
It was
that
gonna be
character
this.
even in there? Yeah.
It was gonna be worse though. This
Well,
guy plays he plays annoying like really well.
Yeah, in that 15 minutes,
He's playing
you get to
Sam
know him.
Witwicky. This is what we do to Sam in the fourth movie. We just obnoxious,
Yeah.
entitled, and hyperactive. You kill that fucker.
Well, he was a
Kill him.
pothead and he got incinerated.
Awesome.
Talk about lighting up.
That's what she said.
But back to like the first movie though, it's like what happened to Jazz? Jazz had 2 lines and then he got ripped in half.
What's up, little bitches?
Yeah, I said, what up, bitches? And he goes, what a piece of me? And Megatron says, how about 2? And breaks him in half. Not that that's not awesome, but the fact that he has no lines. He was one of my favorite characters from G1. I mean, Scatman Crothers, you can't beat that. And instead, they kind of waste this really good character.
And the crazy thing is, it's friggin' Eddie from the Urkel show from the 90s. It's Darius McCrary voicing Jazz in the
from
first
Family Matters.
Family Matters, yeah.
I couldn't tell because he only had 2 lines.
2 lines.
He literally
all
had
right.
10 words in the whole movie.
All right, Proto Man. What about the first film?
First movie, I went into it open-minded. I was like, you know what? This could go really good. This could totally bury everything. This, as I like to say, this could have speed racered. You know, this could have just. This could have just. And don't get me wrong, I love the Speed Racer movie, but it's like, here's your chance to save everything, and you have all the budget going for you. You got everything. You got Michael Bay. You got the money. You got this. You got that. You got Steven Spielberg executive. If this doesn't go well, there's no saving you. So I was like, this is now or never. And this is me not knowing what would come. I mean, now that we know all that we know, it's different. But back then, I went into it not knowing, open-minded. And I sat next to my buddy, and we saw like the 3-day screening ahead of time and the BotCon one, which was actually, because it was funny, I went to see the BotCon one, and then when I got home from BotCon, I had the 3-day advance screening, so I saw it the day I got back from BotCon.
Cool.
So I got to an extra, I got to see it first with the fans. Yeah. But unfortunately, with the fans, it was so loud that I couldn't, get a proper gauge of it. But when I saw it again with my buddies afterwards at the critic screening, TFCon, we always get tickets from Hasbro. So we always get critic screenings.
Cool.
I was able to focus more the second time. So I think the second time was when I really got to think properly. The first time I saw it, everything was awesome, to not quote Lego. But it really was. Everything was awesome. Everything that happened, it didn't matter. I was like, oh my God, I was just happy to get anything that was awesome. The second time I saw it with my buddies and we left, I started to really pick it apart. And I was like, you know what? The beginning of the movie, totally Spielberg. It's boy gets his car, there's characterization, there's humor. It was funny and not in a toilet way. It was there was a lot of it, there was a lot of, what would Jesus do, and bringing him to Porsche and not, there was a lot of it that was funny, that was enjoyable. And Sam's parents up to this point weren't freaking annoying yet.
Right.
We weren't sick of seeing Sam's parents at this point. We were still enjoying them. They were kind of funny and quirky, like meeting annoying parents for the first time, Yeah. Then when the Transformers are introduced, when we're first introduced to Bumblebee and then Barricade, and I mean the slow touches of here's Blackout and stuff, any little piece we got, we dug it. We were like, oh, after that first Blackout scene at the opening of the movie, and then it goes all black before it goes to Sam, the whole audience was kind of like, whoa, like, yeah, okay. Like a little, they just put the head in just a little bit, just a little bit of a tease, but it built up to it. And then when the arrival of the Autobot scene came, and to me, that was the turning point of the fandom in general, as a casual and as a whole, was the arrival of the Autobot scene was magical. And that's coming from me, like who hates a lot of this franchise. of the movies. But the arrival of the Autobots scene was like, to me, when that was happening, in my mind, it was like, we did it. We did it. We got it. Because it was just like, all this time, all this talk, all these rumors of the movie and how it would happen, not happen. And that scene with Steve Jabowski, whatever his name is, composing with the music, it was magical. It was absolutely magical, with Ironhide coming out of the swimming pool, freaking Jesus-like anthem. It was a very magical scene. And to me, it was like, we did it. We're here. We got it. And Optimus coming out of the smog, the first transformation, Jazz doing the frickin', breakdance transformation. We got it. It's good. What's cracking, little bitches? Not Scatman. Black enough. We got it. It was doing it for me. It was really doing it for me, this movie. There was just enough. Now, granted, not enough robots as I would have liked, but it was doing it just enough from my very low make or break expectations that this movie could totally go wrong and ruin everything and we'll have no Transformers. And I mean, up to this point, G.I. Joe was dead in the water in terms of animation and story. Everything could have went bad, So for me, it was like, this has to be good. This has to be even relatively good. And it was. The final battle in Mission City, just good enough. Just good enough. Just enough Transformers. Just enough character development. Bumblebee losing his legs, handing the Allspark to Sam, you pitying Bumblebee in pain, just enough to say, we got it, And then the final scene. Jazz gets ripped in half. I didn't expect that. I actually yelled, oh shit, in the theater when I saw that. I was like, oh wow. I did not expect them to kill an Autobot. I was expecting this cast to maybe continue like most other franchises would, if not to just fade into the background. No, ripped in half. I was like, oh shit, awesome. Hey,
just like that, you get a PG rating instead of a G rating.
Well, that's just it. So I was like, okay, this is good. Movie ends, Allspark, kind of a cop-out death or whatever. Soundtrack was good. Action was good enough. It just did enough to make me go, all right, we did it. This is good. Now that we got the framework, $700 million, worldwide, toys selling like crazy, me seeing it 3 other times afterwards. Imagine, I saw it 4 times in theaters. It did it for me. It did it. It worked. And I thought, it could only get better. It's going to be. This is the setup I'm doing here. This is the setup. It could only get better. Now that we have the groundwork, now that we have every mom, every girlfriend, every son of a bitch on the planet knowing what Transformers are and see. My mom would never fucking see Transformers in theater, but she went to see the Bay one because it was a live action movie. My girlfriend would never fucking sit down for a Transformers movie unless I forced her to show the 86 movie, but they fucking saw it that time many times. And every other casual, every other fucker on Facebook who I was friends with, who would have never watched anything Transformers, but they saw that goddamn movie. And they came back and they went on their fucking wall back in 2007 and said, oh my God, I saw an amazing fucking movie. This movie set the groundwork. It made everyone understand what I was obsessing over. And again, I don't want to toot my horn. After this movie came out, I was in the newspaper, I was on television twice, and TFCon exploded.
Yeah.
It did everything for us. That's why I appreciate the 2007 movie, because of everything that it has done, and it gave me hope. It gave me so much hope because it was just good enough a movie to give me hope. Then 2009. Let's take it away.
I was going to say, let's go to 2009. Let's talk about, was all of Hollywood on the writer's strike, or were there some pockets of writers?
Late 2008, the writer's strike happened, and that affected a lot of movies. It wasn't just Revenge of the Fallen. A lot of movies got boned big time. A good example, they were working on the Astro Boy movie. That got pushed back, and so a lot of ways the Astro Boy movie kind of suffered for it. A lot of animation movies failed for it. A lot of comedies actually got scrapped completely and never happened, and then actors had to get reallocated different areas. It screwed up a lot of things. But what killed me the most was the fact that Orsi and Kurtzman, the original writers, when they had to write, when the writer's strike finished, they had 4 months left. And they were approached and they said, here's 2 movies you're going to be writing. Star Trek and Revenge of the Fallen. Now, Orci and Kurtzman are 2 hardcore Trekkies, or Trekkers, not to be derogatory. You know, and they love Star Trek. Now, imagine it's the same thing with you. Imagine you were approached and they say you could write the Transformer movie and you're going to be writing the Mask movie. Now, you have 4 months. Which one are you going to put all your time and effort into? Obviously, the one that you love more. So they put a lot of focus and a lot of time into that Star Trek movie, and then this is an extra from Revenge of the Fallen. Michael Bay even said it himself. He put them in a hotel room, gave them anything they wanted, and they literally churned out a script in a week and a half. And that says a lot about... That's also why Orci and Kurtzman didn't come back, because they got a lot of guff for it. But that says a lot about what we're going to be talking about right now.
Revenge of the Fallen. Oh, boy. First of all, in the first movie, one thing we didn't bring up was Simmons. As much as I love, what's his name?
Turturro.
Damn. As much as I love John Turturro, I was going to say John Malkovich, holy crap. As much as I love John Turturro, he should not have been in this franchise at all.
I think he was being wasted. I think as much as
his acting ability was being wasted.
He is. Yeah. It's same thing with John Voight, where it's just kind of like, what are you doing here? You know?
All we hear is this sound.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things that, I mean, for a Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, the movie is good enough for them, for newcomers and stuff. Good actors were wasted. Well,
you have to have those guys in there for gravitas, though.
Yeah, totally. To even movie any credit at all, you know.
Yeah.
So, but continue.
So 2009 happened. Revenge of the Fallen happened. They set up this character, the Fallen. He's one of the Primes, one of the 13, but obviously he was the one that went rogue and killed all the Primes. And the one thing I don't like about the Bay movies is that they basically, we'll get to the third and the fourth one, they basically say, oh, hey, guess what? This isn't really how...
Conspiracy. That is the common theme among all 4 movies, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. The second movie I could have done without Turturro as Simmons altogether. I find the character annoying as all hell. I could have done without seeing his ass on a 50-foot, 100-foot fucking screen. I could have done without Devastator balls. Like, seriously, really? Come on.
That's right.
The twins weren't as annoying as I read that they were going to be. Everyone on the internet said, "Oh my God, these guys are going to be so annoying," and they weren't. They were annoying. I'm not saying they weren't, but they weren't like, "Oh my God, these things are worse than the sweetest rabbit cartoon series you could ever." It just no.
You didn't find them to be racist and overstated?
Well, that's kind of the point, isn't it? I mean,
the point was to be racist.
From
we
Michael
don't
Bay's
like
point
to
of view,
read
probably.
racist, or we only speak in.
I thought it was we don't like to read part was more than being lazy than anything else. But so from the first movie to the second movie, you now have the Autobots and the humans working together. The Fallen comes down. Megatron's his bitch, which should never happen. Never happen. What else happens in this? We basically have, like I said, I think I said this off air, but we basically have Michael Bay, the one major Transformers reference that I caught in this movie, outside of like little nods and stuff, the one major plot point reference. He basically watched the G1 episode where Megatron has the solar needle and basically ripped that off. I don't know. Steve, Revenge of the Fallen?
Dog snot. It was a
Okay,
writer's
next
strike
person.
mess piece of garbage
Yes.
film. Another Prime dies. Another Megatron gets his ass kicked after getting rebuilt. Seems to be a theme with Michael Bay throughout these films. Prime gets ass kicked and blown away. Prime gets rebuilt. Megatron gets his ass blown away. Megatron gets rebuilt. And then I feel like it's the same damn film over and over and over, and then they create a new MacGuffin that's magically Transformers lore, like, the Allspark, which is essentially like, supposed to be like the Matrix of the creation Matrix of Essence or whatever, and then the second film we got the Matrix of leadership, or what, and then the third, or they have the Space Needle, and then the fourth one we have the seeds. We're gonna plant Cybertron. It's gonna grow. It just. I mean, I was thinking, it's Jack and the Beanstalk. We're gonna climb up and see Cybertron, and then there's gonna be all kinds of robots coming down, and they're gonna squish the humans, and But I mean, it's the same damn film over and over and over, and then they replace. You have Ironhide in the first three, and then you got Hound in the fourth one. You have big fat ass, Transformer. You have little scrawny, speedy Transformer. You have Bumblebee. You have Prime. It's you get your typical same freaking format throughout the entire films. They just add a new plot device to replace the previous one.
MacGuffin sums it up best.
Yep. What about you, Michael? Second movie?
The second movie was just so poorly written that I was surprised it got made at all. I mean, there are so many plot holes and long, ridiculous sections that should have been cut. I mean, if any decent writer had actually looked at this, they would have stripped out probably at least an hour of the movie and said, why is the roommate character here? What does he do? Why do the parents have to show up in New York at all, or why do the parents have to show up at college? Why are they even there? What's this whole 20-minute scene of the mom running around getting high on brownies? What is that? Why do we have these little mini characters? They don't actually call them mini cons, but why do we have like Wheelie humping on people's legs? Why do we have dogs humping on legs? What is going on with all this stuff? And I'm not even talking about the twins.
They died off screen.
Why do we need to have the Allspark shard resurrect Jetfire? Why, in order to take them to the Matrix of leadership? Why couldn't he have just used that piece of the Allspark to revive Optimus Prime? How do they teleport from Washington D.C. to Egypt?
He told you he was opening a space bridge.
If he has a space bridge, then why have the rest of the movie? It's like, we're opening space bridges. I was so just lost, and why do they have all this stuff going on that they don't need? I mean, honestly, we need like the guy from that 70s show to come in and just re-edit the whole thing like he did with Star Wars so that it makes more sense. I don't know. I mean, I watched it at the theater. I was like, yeah, I like watching giant robots smash into each other. That's a lot of fun. But, I just didn't think it was a very good movie.
And they still aren't.
Well, I don't know. The third one I thought got better. But I honestly think, I want to say the second one was so bad because it was poorly written. The writer's strike kicked in. The people who were supposed to be doing their job didn't. And Michael Bay said, I could write this shit, and he did. And it was awful. Because Michael Bay thinks in sound effects. He doesn't think in plot points. He's like, and then boom, boom, wow, this happens. And then big explosion. And then wait, look at here, another big explosion. And then there's a jet. There's a bunch of military vehicles. Oh, look at it flying around, and my arms are waving over my head. And and then there's sand and testicles. There's got to be testicles in it.
Robotic testicles,
Big
really
robot
big
testicles.
ones.
I'm directly
That
below
was
the enemy
actually-
scrotum.
That was actually an extra on the DVD, where he's
The te-
actually he's talking to one of the CG guys, and he's like, "Would it be possible to get like 2 wrecking balls as testicles?" Like that's actual extra on the Revenge of the Fallen DVD. He's talking to one of the CG guys in that moment, explaining what he wants.
And
I
the
was like,
CG
wow.
guys getting glassy eyes, like,
Oh,
what?
I don't remember the CG
What?
guy's reaction, but I just remember like,
Oh.
wow, they captured that scene where that was born.
That's
You know?
exactly. It was
I
just
will
so
say-
bad. I mean, yeah, it was.
I will say that the second movie, the one really, really cool battle scene was the forest fight.
Yeah. That was
It
it was one of the few
forest
fights in the series where you could see what was going on. It
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
in extreme close up. It wasn't just a junkyard
dark.
of moving parts swirling around. It was, you could actually place. Oh, this is this guy and that's that guy
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Proto Man, Revenge of the Fallen.
Let's take a deep breath.
Cleansing breath.
All right, so 2009, we go to BotCon. We're given some sneak peeks, some little tidbits. Oh, we're going to give you some little scenes. So we're going to show you the transformation of Devastator. People get hyped. Oh man, it's Devastator. Kind of heavy. That's all we get. Oh, and a Bumblebee fighting Ravage in incomplete manner. But not with the fish fillet at the end. But we'll get to that. So, we get hyped. All right, side swipes in the movie. Kind of looks cool. All right, cool. We're going to do this. This is going to be our movie. This is going to be focus on the robots, less of the humans. Now that we've got people on board, it's been a year and a half now. Now people are going to be hyped for Transformers. We don't need to hold their hand anymore, the general audience. Everyone's been behind this. We've sold more toys than we've ever since like 1985. It made Beast Wars look like a walk in the park. It made everything look like nothing, the toy sales. So we're going to be good, right? So we go into this movie, and right away, here's the Fallen. All right, we saw War Within. We know that this guy's a traitor. He's going to be the big bad of this movie. We didn't know how it was going to interplay, but we knew. And not to mention, IDW was teasing us with their comics, Alliance and Defiance, setting up what would be Nest, setting up also what would be Megatron, becoming Megatron because of the Fallen. So we kind of knew that if you were a guy reading the IDW books, what was happening in between. We get to this movie. Right away, freaking crap. Okay, so Sam's parents' college. All right, more of this shit. Okay, so Mom gets high now. It's kind of funny. Okay, the first time. Yeah, Sam's, really stressed out and he's twitching like crazy because he's got the Allspark in his brain. Okay, that's pulling from the Marvel books. All right, good for you. Yeah, that's kind of like when Sam Witwicky, not Sam, when Buster had the Matrix in his mind, the creation Matrix code. Okay, they're kind of pulling from that, I guess, right? Then the Allspark goes off, and everyone freaking comes alive, and he's got like a blender that has a cock gun and shit. And okay, sure, hey, funny. Oh, hey, we're gonna have one dog humping scene. Nope, we're to Michael Bay. We're gonna have 2 dog humping scenes. Okay, sure, right. And so there's me just going like, okay, I see where we're getting at here. All right. Fine.
And then they had a robot humping scene.
Well, we'll get to that later. That's later. You got to get just enough dog humping with Bay at this point, because here's the thing. Michael Bay prior to this movie was not Michael Bay, the Transformer director. He was Michael Bay of Armageddon and Rock Bad Boys. After this Transformer movie made tons of money, here's what I think happened. It's kind of the same with George Lucas, which is what happened. When George Lucas was doing the original Star Wars, he wasn't so much George Lucas, the dude of Star Wars. He was George Lucas, the director. And there was guys that would be around him that would say, no, George, you know what? I don't think this is a good idea. Or maybe this scene should be redone this way. By the time he did episode 1, 2, and 3, there was no yes man. And I think that's what happened with Michael Bay. After the 2007 movie, that movie became so big, and even Michael's ego, as big as it was back then, went to immaculate size. I have an ego, and I look at Michael Bay and go, man, that ego's bigger than mine. you know? And I have a big fucking ego. I will openly say that. Michael Bay's ego was so huge after that 2007 movie that no one questioned his ideas for this one. So if he said he wanted a dog humping scene, even though it messed up pace or messed up anything, it happened. So dog humping scene, everything like that. And we were also introduced to what is now known as Bloody Murder Optimus Prime. We are introduced to the character of Demolishor and Nest. So they are hunting down Decepticons. Optimus Prime busts up, Demolishor, who, by the way, was not instigating a fight, but actually hiding. Didn't actually at any point attack the humans or the army, just running away. Sideways is cut in half by a newly introduced Sideswipe, who is, has his one line, "Damn, I'm good." Let's get used to that because there's not going to be much more of that character, despite any hype that we had in our minds. And we were introduced to Bloody Murder Optimus Prime now, who, in cold blood, just cocks his gun and kills a Decepticon at point blank. Something a certain G1 Megatron did in his own respective movie to an Ironhide. So we have a different Prime we were introduced to this time, even though it's supposed to be the same character from the 2007 movie. This guy doesn't take shit. I don't know what happened between 2007 and 2009. Alliance didn't show much of it, and neither did Reign of Starscream, which was another IDW book. But this guy got jaded and angry as hell by the time the Fallen came.
That would only get worse as the final two.
Yeah, but the thing is we weren't introduced to anything even in supplemental material that said why he became like that. So it's writing, obviously, but we're again me looking too deep to explain the plot hole. But anyhow, so we get introduced to that, everything. Oh, by the way, Sam's in college. And now we're introduced to Mr. Kitten Calendar, which is known as Leo. And Leo is the bane of human characters, is what we do not want in Transformers, is annoying sidekick human character who's just like, oh, hey, there's conspiracies and stuff, and there's video online, and we're hacking into the internets and shit. And yeah, like there's Transformers in Mission City, there was a fight, and there was this thing in Hong Kong, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Okay. Oh, hey, there's that hot chick. Oh, hot chick like Sam. Oh, hot chick is really some kind of pretender thing out to kill Sam by making out with him with her robo-tongue and stuff. Okay, Alice, whatever. Little action scene. Some books get destroyed in a library. They run into a car and crush her in between a pole. Whatever. Okay.
Okay, first things first. I have to stop you right here because the greatest thing about that scene was when she was in the car and Bumblebee is doing all this crap to her and Nickelback's "Burn It to the Ground" is playing in the background.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of, Bumblebee not approving of her, spraying her with coolant. I mean, there was also the scene with the jocks where it's like, you got to find you a tighter shirt. Again, little funny throwaways here. I'll admit, I laughed the first time. Sure, why not? But where's my Robits? Where's my Robits, man? We went through this in the first movie. We're good now. It's time for the robots to shine, right? It's starring Optimus Prime, not Shia LaBeouf, right? Right? No, okay, whatever. So let's go to the next one. So we keep going, and then it's like, oh, hey, they got picked up, by some kind of crane and shit, and oh, it's the fucking Decepticons, and they're after the boy. And oh, by the way, I skipped totally the scene where our Megatron is revived, by the way, by just taking some parts from spare Constructicon number 17 and Scalpel making his first appearance. And so now Megatron is back. Somehow being in the Laurentian Abyss doesn't crush nobody then, so everyone comes out, everything is fine. Starscream, gets a little bit of characterization that's more true to his G1 version, which was absent, unfortunately, in the first movie, where he just had one or two lines that wasn't really Chris Latta-esque groveling. So Megatron gets his new body, this tank body, a little more appropriate. Also, again, if I'm going to say some nice things about Revenge of the Fallen, I will. More appropriate body as opposed to the Cybertronian jet. More appropriate Starscream to the one that we originally were presented with in the limited amount of that previous movie. But it kind of ends there. Because then when the action starts and the long, stretched out, just Wheelie's introduced, and Wheelie's just this Joe Pesci-esque little dude who I actually kind of enjoyed, but didn't get much of him. Then he starts humping Megan Fox's leg. Got to get that humping quota in. Can't forget about that. Megan Fox, who, by the way, also at this point, because of the 2007 movie and because it did so well, got a lot of surgery done, got her cheekbones lifted, got her chin fixed. And I always tell people, you want to see Megan Fox, how she looked before and after, pick up the Human Alliance Skids with Megan Fox action figure, the mint and box one. On the left side of the box is how she looked in Mission City in the 2007 movie. On the right side of the box is how she looks in the 2009 movie. And you could go back and forth and look at all the work she had done since then. So that's a little fun factoid for you all, and it's quite interesting, actually. So anyways, so you got Megan Fox. She looks vastly different this time with all her work done from plastic surgery. Oh, hey, butt scene. She's with her dad, who that gets thrown away. Hey, remember he was in jail? Now he's out of jail, and now she's working for him. We're never going to visit that ever again. So now she meets up with Sam in the frickin' college. Oh, I wasn't making out with a Decepticon, and then we fast forward through all that shit again. I'm pretty much trying to get now to Agent Simmons, who, by the way, now is running in his Jewish mom's salami shop, essentially. Starring from Street Fighter the later years, Dalsim, who's the guy who needs to work for teeth, and I don't know what other throwaway one-gag characters that were in that room at the time. Oh, hey, Sector 7 was discontinued, and I'm going to show you to my bunker-sized, absolutely huge basement in my salami shop. That, man, that was a huge freaking basement. And yeah, oh, hey, like the Decepticons were always around all this time. And that leads to another IDW book, which was the Sector 7 book that was playing with the idea that, there's been Model T Transformers. There's been this and that. And then it leads to, oh, hey, there's Jetfire. Now, they go to find Jetfire. And it's like, oh, hey, he's in the frickin' Smithsonian, which for some reason in this continuity is located in the middle of the desert. And Jetfire's in a Blackbird. And again, everyone who's been paying attention up to this point, this isn't the Jetfire We're not talking G1. We're not talking Armada, Energon, Galaxy Force, any of that. We're talking a brand new, crotchety, farting, parachutes Jetfire, who's just like played by Mark Ryan as best as Mark Ryan could do a good job, but Mark Ryan's phoned in this old crotchety Jetfire who his father was a wheel and he turned into nothing, They do the teleport thing. Now they're in the desert. Oh, by the way, did I skip a scene because the frickin' pace is so horrible? Yeah, Optimus Prime fights in a desert, fights in a forest, and he dies. And there's all spark shards and stuff. And am I breaking up a little bit? So there's Prime gets killed. The Matrix is now dust and stuff. Not dust. They have to find the Matrix, which is in the Egyptian desert and shit, and they teleport over there, and it's such a mess of things happening and characters coming along for the ride that didn't need to be there. You have the twins that, in all honesty, I didn't find they were too racist, but at the same time, they weren't too entertaining either. They were just kind of like, oh, hey, here's these two black characters, in the way that Blaster was a black character, or G1 Jazz was a black character, or even in the way that Beast Wars Tigatron had a little Afro-tistic qualities to him of an African-American character. But these two were just, hey, it's frickin' Flava Flav and Flava Flav Jr. as Transformers. They're both
I will say the best scene,
uneducated, bling bling wearing rapper Transformers. That's what they were to me.
I will say the best scene with them is when Bumblebee basically schools the hell out of them. That entire scene at the temple, when he basically just takes them each of them in one hand and basically slams their head together. All as I can think of is Bumblebee is Mo, and either one of them could be Larry or Curly Joe.
Well, and you just reminded me of another thing. And another character development thing that kind of angered me was at the end of the first movie, Bumblebee got his voice back. And then they just kind of swept that under the rug because the first movie did so well, they don't want to change that character aspect of him. To quote Sam, he's playing it up. I don't know what even that was supposed to mean. I thought it was fixed, it's not fixed, and it would stay broken forever. Because we all know all the times Optimus has been revived from nothingness and all the characters have been repaired and stuff. Somehow that little crushed voice box from on Cybertron is impossible. So they play up that. Bumblebee can't talk still, whatever. We get to the desert. Sam finds the Matrix, it crumbles to nothingness, and he puts it all in his sock. Yeah. And then, by the way, at this point he has a broken hand because while this movie was being filmed, Shia LaBeouf drove drunk and broke his hand in a car accident. So they had to base that all around the movie because the actor Shia LaBeouf was an idiot behind the wheel and got drunk and got into a car accident. So the reason why Sam breaks his hand when he teleports is because of that. Because they had to work in the stupid actor having a cast the rest of the movie around his hand. Now we get to there's the fucking solar needle shit. We got to get to that. That's going to take an hour. This movie was already running way too long as it was, and so is my whole spiel here of me talking. I've been talking longer than I should have, but that's how long this movie was.
That's how long it was.
It's just that the fact that I have to talk this long, So, and I love it too. It's like we got to get over there, and then all the stuff that turns into cars and planes that could help them get over there scatter in every other direction. Like fuck that, I'm not driving you to that pyramid, So he has to run on foot, and it's just like, okay, he's running on foot. Now at this point Daniel was getting all, maybe there's some deep meaning to all of this, because in the first movie Sam didn't get on the football team, and then here he is holding the Allspark like a football with some quarterbacks covering him and his linesmen to get the Allspark to the helicopter. Oh, there was a deep meaning there. And then in the second movie, it was all about Sam leaving for college, and then when he has to run with the Allspark because his parents were kidnapped, it's all about his parents staying with him instead of going away. There's some deep meaning there. But no, I was fucking wrong. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Michael Bay probably was like, yeah, that's good. Maybe we'll use that, because Lord knows you probably heard it first from me before I even thought about putting it in the movie. So anyways, you have the Devastator transformation, and we're all like, oh, dude, here's Devastator. Here's our freaking centerpiece. Fucking Constructicons. Everybody knows the Constructicons, right? They're going to be awesome. Oh, wait, what's this? The U.S. military have some kind of rail gun that could take out anything from millions of miles away. Sorry, Devastator. Boned. You're dead. Oh, by the way, but not before alien scrotum. Yeah. Alien scrotum. Yeah, we needed that alien scrotum, and we needed John Turturro, one man in skids, one man with Leo. Let's put these two characters in a car, throw away another 15 minutes of movie time, and an Arabic midget who's a fucking, it's just, the whole movie is just one throwaway gag after another that I'm throwing at you as I'm remembering them, because there's no pace to them that would make sense as I'm telling them to you. So, final battle happens, freaking Jetfire has his line, and then, hey, remember Scorponok who got away? Here he is again, and he's going to take out Jetfire. Yeah, the weakest Decepticon took out the ancient Transformer for good, but not before giving his parts to Optimus Prime, who was revived with the Matrix, who Sam went into a coma, saw the original 13, the Matrix is reborn. I don't know what that is even supposed to mean. Is Sam the chosen one? Evidently not, because by movie 4, he doesn't matter anymore. So
you brought up the 13. The one thing I will say that I absolutely loved,
the original 7, not 13 in this continuity, but whatever.
Right. The 13 primes. The one thing I love, the one that talks to him, Kevin Michael Richardson.
Yeah. But so the Matrix is reborn, Prime is back. You helped me, boy, thank you, and everything. Now I'm going on a murder. So first, you Jetfire, who's dead. Jolt. Oh, by the way, you've been hiding on the side this entire movie, but you have toys we have to sell. Jolt, put these pieces on me. Now I'm wearing this dead guy's parts, and I could fly now. Let's go for the quick, barely 4 minutes battle scene. So let's first take out this Star Destroyer. Bam, that's done. All right, now let's take out the Fallen. Give me your face. Wow, this guy's fucking hardcore. All right, hey, Megatron, let's fight. Oh, shit, he's just cutting the shit out of Megatron. Gee, okay, whoa, slow down, Prime. Yo, okay, you're a little fucking crazy now. First movie, it was pretty even. Now you're just... Well, okay, Prime, slow the fuck down. Okay, Prime, Jesus Christ. All right. Starscream, get him the fuck out of here. Get him the fuck out of here. Okay, and... cue to credits. Play Linkin Park song. What the fuck just happened? I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell just happened. There was a lot of explosions. There's a lot of shit that got thrown at us. Maybe an Insecticon here and there. I don't know what the fuck I saw. Ravage appeared for a second. Soundwave apparently was there. We saw some fucking, like, Reedman thingy, as it was called. That was some metal shard thing. I don't know. It was all this century shit that was thrown at me. And in the end, I think I liked it, but I'm not sure. Was it better than the first? Definitely had more robots. Did we ask for more robots? Yeah, we sure did. Hey, we got a lot more robots. It should be better than the first, right? I don't know. Maybe I'll see it a second time. And I did. And fuck did I wake up that second time. Because that second time made me realize, what the hell was I thinking? What a goddamn disaster that movie is. Because I fidgeted the second time. I'm like, oh my God, how long is this? The pace is horrible. The story is horrible. Characters are thrown round and round. Fish fillet on frickin' Ravage. Like, Ravage was just skinned like nothing. No character meant anything. And that's when it dawned on me. The first movie, I thought, because it was just trying to just get off the ground, it's okay to ignore characters. The second movie would be the strong reminder of, this is what we think of Transformers. Nobody matters. Everyone's expendable. Everyone's going to die. And that's the fact. And that's the bottom line, because Michael Bay said so.
Yeah. So the third movie pretty much can be summed up like this. Spock comes in. Spock wants to, find these pillars. Oh my God, Spock is a traitor. And he's working with Megatron while the humans are also working with Megatron. We have this really amazing battle scene in Chicago where they destroy half of Michael's city. Everything is based around the space program. It's like, oh, great.
Conspiracy number 3.
Yeah,
now let's just reiterate up to this point. Conspiracy in the first movie. Transformers were on Mars. They got rid of the Mars rover. Oh, and the Hoover Dam exists because of the Allspark. Conspiracy in movie 2 was, did you know the pyramids were actually created by the Transformers and they were hiding a Star Destroyer all this time? That's conspiracy number 2. Conspiracy number 3 is that NASA, all this time, and the whole, Apollo 11 fiasco and all of that, was really just to get Transformer stuff when the dark side of the moon. Unrelated.
The whole space race.
Yeah.
The whole space race.
And Chernobyl. Can't forget about Chernobyl.
Yeah, Chernobyl.
Another conspiracy. So you think you know American history and world history? I'm sorry, you don't. It says the Transformers.
Yes. Steve, thoughts on the first one?
On the first one, what?
The
third one.
Third
one.
Third one was better than the second one. But again, I felt like I was watching a G1 episode. I felt like I'd seen the story kind of play out before. It wasn't really anything spectacular or special to me. I would argue that at that time, it was better than... it still is, and it's better than the second one, but I don't know. I liked Nimoy being in it for what little bit he was in there, but it didn't really impact me all that much. Megatron was still a little bitch in this film, just like he was in the previous one, playing second fiddle. He was kind of not really, but he still was.
He was in a way, but he was less of a bitch than he was in the second movie. Because in the second movie, he was serving the Fallen, whereas in this one, he and Alpha... I almost called him Alpha Trion. Fuck. Sentinel Prime had some sort of uneasy alliance. For me, I liked this one because Soundwave was a lot more present. I liked seeing, as much as I didn't like the design, I liked seeing Laserbeak. I wish the design was a little bit better. The stereotypical crazy guy dude in the I don't know what's worse, the guy in the office going off on Sam or Leo. Honestly, I hated both of those characters. The robot stuff was better this time around. For the most part, I gotta, we're up to the third film. As each film goes around, Optimus Prime is getting worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
He really, really is.
In what regard? In just the bloodthirst regard, or?
Yeah, he's becoming basically a murderous Autobot. I mean, if as much as we love Peter Cullen, I'm sorry, Peter Cullen is wrong. This is not the same Optimus Prime we had 30 years ago.
I asked Peter Cullen, what do you think of this new Optimus Prime and how he compares with the G1 Prime? And he said, it's the same one. It's the same character. And then it's next question, but it's like, wait a minute, what part of give me your face equates with freedom is the right of all sentient beings?
It's different personality.
Yeah, I mean, it is the same voice. If
he wouldn't own up to it, though. And I get it. You're getting a paycheck. They're paying you. You're paid to be here. And they will take that away if you disparage them. Just ask Megan Fox. But still, you gotta own up. Come on.
I will say this might be out of the three films, out of the original trilogy, I guess, since this next film sets up a new trilogy, supposedly. Out of the original trilogy, this is the only film that I can actually stomach Simmons. Simply because the more annoying character in this one is his ex-wife or future lover or whatever the hell the CIA lady is supposed to be. I will say, out of all three of these movies, I really dug Josh Duhamel and Tyrese Gibson. I dug their characters. I thought, out of the human characters, it probably would have made more sense to focus on them and not even have Sam Witwicky in this at all.
I agree.
But then who do we have to sleep with supermodels and, basically get high-paying jobs in big companies because they have robot friends? You got to have that in a movie. It's important. You got to have those characters you can relate to.
Yeah, right. Characters you can relate to. Uh-huh. Okay, since we're on the third movie, here's my thing with Sam. He was a douchebag in the first one. He got a little tiny sliver of a shred, kind of like the sliver of Allspark that got fed into his brain of character in the second one. And they then take that away in the third one and basically the third one, he's basically almost selling his grandfather's glasses again on eBay. He's like, oh, poor me. I've saved the world twice, and I can't tell anybody about it. I've saved the world twice. They can't do anything for me other than to put me through college and pay for my entire college education. Oh, you dumb mother...
You entitled piece of shit.
Basically, yeah.
Taste the back of my hand. Yes, because I can relate to that.
Sure you can.
Well, where's my supermodel?
You had 2 kids with her.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, dear. I love you, honey.
Yeah, right.
Don't tell Megatron. Anyway, I liked the third one a lot better than the second one. That has that going for it. I think that's a universal viewpoint.
Yeah.
What I liked about the third movie, though, is that, aside from the Solar Needle, it took a lot of plot points from G1 cartoons.
Yep.
Like 5 or 6 different G1 cartoons, and kind of smashed them all together into one really, really long movie. And I appreciated that, but I also appreciated their stunt casting, which was Leonard Nimoy. Because not only did you have Leonard Nimoy as a voice, but you also had a movie clip on the television of the original series, Star Trek, the original series. You had an audio clip of Leonard Nimoy from, I want to say, Star Trek 2.
Something like that.
Yeah, what? No, it was either Star Trek 2 or Star. Yeah, no, yeah,
It's
no.
one of those movies.
It was one of those movies, right? Well, the one where he died. So you've got
Wrath of Khan.
that. Yeah, the second movie. So you've got Bumblebee spoke in a sound clip from that, and at least twice they reference Spock and or Star Wars just in dialogue. So I mean, there is just so much Leonard Nimoy wanking going on that you can't help but be like, wow, I really hope Leonard Nimoy voices something in here, because it'd be really awkward if he didn't.
Exactly. All right, Proto-Man, quick thoughts on the third one.
Quick thoughts. Okay. So
3 hours later, thanks, Proto-Man.
We go into BotCon 2011. It's Pasadena. We got that frickin', theater thing set up for us, and Michael Bay's there in the flesh to make us look like idiots, because one of his famous lines from that was, "I can't believe so many of you guys are into this. Shut up, man. We made you $700 million over a span of like frickin' each 2 years. See that gold encrusted like swimming pool you have? That's us. We paid for that. So don't fucking make fun of us." So he's like, "I'm going to show you one of my favorite scenes from the movie." He shows us this fucking human squirrel bullshit that no one cares about, and that was supposed to be our big hype for the movie. And of course, everyone in that theater, and I swear to God, I will break the neck of every Transformer fan that was in that theater, everyone was cheering for Bay and loving him. "We love you, Michael. You're amazing."
We love you.
Oh
Please
my
disregard
God!
all the horrible things we said about you.
I wanted to kill everyone there. Everyone. It was just like, you sons of bitches. All of you. All of you. I swear, me and Seth Buzzard were looking around like we were in some kind of fucking bizarro world. And it was just like, are you fucking serious? Anyways, so we saw that. That was our little, taste of hype. Go to see the movie a couple weeks later. I was like, you know what? After that piece of shit, Revenge of the Fallen, how bad could this be? And I'll admit, it was a lot better. Not a little better, a lot better. Like you said before, G1 aspects of storytelling. And me, I love it too, because I always avoid all spoilers. So I went into that super arrogant, this is Sentinel Prime. I know everything about Sentinel Prime. Fucking, original fucking leader before Optimus, G2 comic book cameo. Oh yeah, he was mentioned in fucking War Within. I know everything about Sentinel Prime. Animated fucking douchebag. Yeah, okay, the Tick. I know everything about Sentinel. What the fuck? He's a traitor. Oh shit, Ironhide is dead. Oh my God. That was the thing with the movie, was it actually had a twist. I'll give it that. Because when it starts, you're like, oh, here's Sentinel Prime. Prime's giving the Matrix to him. It's a mentor character. They're going to work together to fight against. And by the way, up to this point, we all thought Shockwave was going to be the big bad guy, the way it was hyped. We thought, it's going to be Shockwave. He's going to come and he's going to, do what he did in the Marvel books where Megatron wasn't doing a good job. And that's why he's so busted up. Shockwave's going to be the new leader of the Decepticons and everything. Nope, that's not how it turned out. Got a fucking red herring 180 on everything, and boom, Sentinel's the big bad. Shockwave is just a fucking metal worm thingy going on, which kind of sucked, actually. But we got a lot of good action scenes. I liked how Sentinel Prime was depicted. Leonard Nimoy did a good job with that character. Humans could have lived without a lot of them. Carly, whatever the frick her name was, throwaway, horrible actor. It's like, hey, and then you got McSteamy from what's it called there, from that hospital drama that my girlfriend watches. And it was just like, oh, hey, you're like some car collector guy that you need Sam's girlfriend to be your secretary because she's so important. Create all this jealousy stuff that's going on. Oh, by the way, Sam's parents, because we always need more of Sam's parents. And then it's like, hey, son, I'm going to give you some sexual advice. Now, we're still watching a Transformer movie, right? Okay, anyways. So, and then it's like, okay, fine. Oh, hey, and oh, by the way, now Wheelie has a buddy. His name is Brain. And then we get our first little spoiler where fucking Wheelie goes, hey, remember, this is the episode where Spock goes crazy. And what do you know? Spock went crazy, So it's like, oh, that's kind of clever, Michael Bay. I hope you wrote that. No, it wasn't Orsi and Kurtzman. It's this new guy, Kruger. Let's take a look at Rotten Tomato here. He hasn't written a movie that has more than 20% fresh. So up to this point, he has written nothing but ass up to this point.
I think Kruger was the guy that took over when... the second movie, I should say, when Orsi and Kurtzman bailed out.
He only wrote a little... No, Orsi and Kurtzman still had a lot to do with the writing. It's just Kruger took over full steam for the third one. So this is Kruger's writing. This is Kruger's dialogue. This is Kruger's story. And then Bay is just making it Bay along the way, as we like to put it. So we get to, hey, there's... betrayal, Ironhide is dead. Oh, hey, Cosmic Rust, I guess. Cool, G1 reference. And then we got some off, the twins were apparently killed in that scene, but it was cut from the movie, and it was only put in the comic book, but supposedly Sentinel kills both of them, too.
That should have been in there.
And then more annoying human characters. We got CIA lady that's like, not scared of nobody. Where's my Prada bag? Asian secretary, Like, it was just... I don't know. I hate these stereotype characters that are just useless and boring and trying to prove themselves when we're never going to see them ever again or ever care. It's like, why are you even giving this to us? And Agent Simmons, he wrote a book because apparently no one was in Mission City. No one was around in Egypt. No one saw these Transformers. It's a giant conspiracy. And no one saw these things. And Agent Simmons made millions of dollars writing about something that apparently no one saw. So whatever with that, but we get the whole battle scenes, and again, it all gets mashed up into one thing. Oh, hey, Chernobyl, that happened because of the Transformers, and that's where Sentinel was. All what was it, that energy source that they needed? I keep forgetting. That was in
their
Chernobyl.
Engine part.
Yeah, like that one engine part that they needed and everything, and it's like, oh, hey, we're good. And this is the part that bothered me, which was Megatron's goal. Every movie, it was bullshit and it changed. It's like, why did Megatron come to Earth? He was chasing the Allspark. No, he wasn't. He came to Earth to get the Allspark because he knew the Fallen was there, and so was the Star Destroyer. Right? That was it. No, let's retcon that again. No, he actually came to Earth because he knew that Sentinel was there and they were going to terraform Earth to be Cybertron 2.0. So they again changed the whole plot and act like the two movies' main purposes didn't happen anymore. We have to actually forget what Megatron's goals were before. Or he was just lying or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something that bothered me about the third
Megatron's
movie.
got plots within plots.
Well, that's they're
he's
trying
one
to
step
say,
ahead of everybody in
apparently
every movie.
he's Beast Wars Megatron at this point. He's got like a million things going on for him. So
that's kind of insulting to Beast Wars.
I know
Megatron,
it is,
though.
but so again we got Death Murder Optimus killing shit like crazy, ripping things apart. We got Starscream being Starscream and then getting his ass handed to him by Sam. Way to let off. Hey, here's Starscream, super iconic character. We're going to make the human character kill him, with some kind of stab grenade thingy into your eye. Whatever, sure. Then we're introduced to a whole bunch of characters that don't matter because they'll get killed off soon enough later. So we're introduced to I'm going to do air quotes here, Wheeljack, also known as Q, who's like, oh, here he is, now he's dead. Was he there for some kind of emotional thing? Oh, the Decepticons kill people in remorse. I think we learned that already. But then again, so do the Autobots. So at this point, this is not shocking. We got Soundwave, who's again, wasn't a spoiler to us because we saw all the toys beforehand, but he's secretly so-and-so's car, and he's been working with the Decepticons all this time. Another conspiracy. Humans have been working with the Decepticons all these years. Okay, sure. Whatever. And this is Kruger writing, so it means that a girl's got to get kidnapped. And that's going to be a common thing with movie 4, too. So she gets kidnapped because we need her alive, of course, because we need the human character to have a reason to infiltrate the Decepticon, stronghold, the base of operations, whatever the hell they were doing in Chicago over there. Fast forward, Prime beats, Sentinel. There's so much fluff in between. It's like, oh, they go and they fake their own deaths, and then in the end they're not dead, and they meet up with the army guys, and then Prime says the line, "Kill them all." So yeah, he's Death Murder Prime. Like, this Prime just doesn't give a shit anymore. And then there's more action scenes that are throwawayable, and oh hey, here's Shockwave. Let's just fucking kill him in 5 seconds because he's not important, right? I mean, he wasn't in like every trailer hyping up this movie. So his head hits the ground and rolls away, and he's dead. And oh, Soundwave is going to get a Shoryuken through his chest from Bumblebee, so he's dead. And like, everyone was just dying and useless and didn't matter and didn't care. And then in the end, Sentinel's begging, and Prime, in cold blood, fucking just cocks his gun and shotgun Sentinel right through his face in most bloodiest way possible. This movie had more spit and saliva than all of them up in combined.
They bleed now.
Yeah. So and Sentinel dies a painful and absolutely horrible death from Optimus Prime, who, when we think Optimus Prime, we think painful, bloody murder of the ones he hates, like slow, painful death. And then Megatron's like, oh, we got to finish this. And then Prime's like, yes, we do. 5 seconds later, he's dead and his head is ripped off. Like, they literally didn't even try to build up a fight scene for that one. It's just like, and off with your head, and like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat 1, head removed, fucking spinal cord hanging, finish him, fatality, you get your 3,000 points to your score.
I was really expecting a Pink Floyd reference somewhere in this movie other than the damn title, honestly.
Well, you know what? And it was funny, too, because you listen to the first 2 Linkin Park songs, and they actually do have some kind of relation to things. The first song references Optimus Prime killing Megatron, who was, quote, his brother. The second movie talks about Sam and Michaela and how close they were and how it kept them together, which, of course, is all bullshit now because he dropped her for another chick, and Michaela means nothing. But the third movie's song was really like, this movie is fucked up and we're ending on a sour note. And I remember Gog Dog said it the best because he felt the exact same thing I said, was that then after he kills Megatron, they do this scene where it's like, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, and they're spinning around Optimus, and he's holding the gun in his hand, and I was expecting Optimus to just put the fucking gun under his chin and blow his own head off. Like, I thought he was just going to be like, ah, boom, because it looks like he's going to lose it at that point. Like, it's like, I just killed my master. I just killed my biggest rival. Everyone's, like, fucking dead. Like, it's just, Steve Jabowski's fucking hitting the keyboard. Ba, 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 and nothing. And then it's just like, that's the end of this movie. It ends on a sour note. They play the new Linkin Park theme song, which is like, in the end, there's something, this movie was shit. Little better than the second one, but kinda shit. But you'll still not buy the toys, and Dark of the Moon got pulled off the shelf early because the toys didn't sell well, because a lot of people didn't dig the movie. And that was that. That one, better than the second, but I still think the first one was a better start, end, and finish of a movie. But
yes, I will agree with that. We have to take a quick break. We are going to come back with spoiler-filled thoughts on the latest film, Age of Extinction. We'll be back after this.
This is the greatest advance in modern physics since the splitting of the atom.
A rare metal, molecularly unstable.
It's what they're made of.
Bring it up! All the way!
You guys have never seen a truck like this before.
Dad, you can't keep spending money on junk.
I don't think it's a truck at all. I think we just found a transformer.
I'm gonna ask you this once. Where is Optimus Prime? After all we have done, humans are hunting us. But I fear we are all targets now.
What is that?
Who sent you here? This is not war. It's human extinction. How many more of my kind must be sacrificed?
You gotta have faith, Prime. Maybe not in who we are, and who we can be.
I'm not leaving my dad.
We need a new army.
And let's all take a deep breath because it is now.
I dropped Proto Man in the smelting pool.
Ugh, rubbery.
There's a hot rod in the pool.
Oh. Wow. Okay then.
That's quite Rod-a-musty there.
Okay, we are firing on all cylinders in this part of All Things Transformers, episode 42. We are here to continue the Bayverse discussion, and this time to talk about the most recent film, Transformers 4: Age of Extinction.
Yay!
Okay, so now I know if Proto Man was here, he would be the negative Nancy of the entire group.
Oh, pick me, pick me!
I found the film to be refreshing on the casting level. So much, just...
Hey, like Optimus Prime.
Every single actor in this movie is all better than what Shia LaBeouf did in the previous 3 films.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg was good in his role. He played the overprotective father, and as the movie went along, I saw that he kind of came around, and well, let's just get this one thing out of the way. Why did Michael Bay not go for the humor in this film, where he went more for the stalking and the statutory rape? And they actually brought out evidence why it wasn't statutory rape. It's like, oh my god, that is crazy.
I'm not entirely sure why they even brought up the topic of age. I mean, it's like, she's going to college, she's looking for her college acceptance letter in the mail. They could have said, hey, I just turned 18, and this guy's 20, but hey, I'm 18, everything's cool. And that would have been, the little hand waving, everything would have been fine. Yeah. But instead, we get 20 minutes of explaining why he's not a serial rapist.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the boyfriend who claims in the presence of the father that she has good hands, that the hands on the stick is good with her. I'm not. Yeah, she's like, she's got the best hands in the business. And my first thought was, does she drive your car while you're racing? Or
nope, she drives a stick.
She drives a stick, exactly. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. And then there's a whole nother 20-minute segment where Cade looks over at the boyfriend and says, someone was in my house. Was it you? Were you in my house? And he's waffling, no, finally admits it. Yeah, it was me. So it's like, you don't sneak over to someone's house to sample her stick handling ability. I mean, there's more going on here. And the sad thing is we took at least 20 to 30 minutes out of this movie to discuss it, down to the point where we have to get into Texas law.
Yeah, governmental
let's discuss Texas law in this. I mean, I'm like, has Michael Bay got a problem with 16-year-old girls, or because 17-year-old
his thing is he casts girls that always are looking like they're from Victoria's Secret, and then
the last one was
yeah.
That's because he directs them on that too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you can tell where his mind is.
Michael Bay is going to transition to porn.
He's like, wash my car, bitch.
You know, Megan Fox is like, speaking of wash my car, you know, Megan Fox is probably, I've heard this analogy before, was like pretty enough to be a porn star and acts about as well. You know, so it's like, I'm not entirely sure. She's not. Yeah. You know, it's like maybe.
They do come up with pseudonyms.
Well, I have seen a Megan Fox who looks a lot like her, or maybe it is her. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say where I saw it. I'm just saying.
But this whole film went polar opposite of the last three.
Yeah.
However, it felt flat. And also, not to mention, it was 165 minutes, 2 hours, 35 minutes. It could have survived on being an hour and a half.
I'm not sure if I'd buy that. Like I said, I probably could have done without 20 minutes of Texas law discussion. But
what about the 45 minutes of having no Transformer on screen?
You know, I don't mind getting to know the character a little bit as long as it's a good character. Like, I don't want to watch 45 minutes of Shia LaBeouf, being hyperactive, entitled, and obnoxious.
You mean where he goes, no.
The whole damn movie, exactly. I don't want to see him, just the way he acts. It bothers me. It's aggravating. And I can't believe he got away with it for 3 movies. But...
Well, they were trying to be cheap. Now they went for the good stuff.
Well, they made the movie, I think, for like $60 million less than the last movie. And it still made more money.
Yeah, because they used less humans and they kept, they have one action star.
They used less humans. They used less, well, I don't want to say, sets because they went to China. But there was like that's a separate subject. There's a whole deal with China where they got to use certain locations in exchange for product placement. And things like that. I mean, the Chinese government got involved.
Yeah.
That's a different story. Because they made $1 jillion in China on opening weekend. Like, I want to say they made as much money in China as they did in the United States domestically on opening weekend. But that's just because that's a different story. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would rather watch Marky Mark and his daughter and his serial rapist son-in-law to be for an hour. And just have them dick around in his van, in his garage or his barn. They're like, hey, we're gonna mess around in your barn. I would just like to wander around in his barn and just look at that half-assed crazy shit that he quote unquote invented. It's like crazy guard dog. Bark, bark, bark. I will call the police. It's like, dude, I want one of these. It's like I thought everything he had in there was cool. The robot that couldn't serve beer to save his life.
All you gotta do is put robotic parts on Dargo.
Exactly. Well, yeah, Dargo needs cybernetic parts.
Yes, he does.
I'm calling the police.
Yes.
But I thought it was neat. I like that. I didn't. Getting back to my point, I didn't mind watching the characters. I didn't mind finding out more about these guys. Would I have preferred to see more robots? Yeah, of course. But even when the robots came on the screen, weird things started happening. Like the last 3 movies, Bumblebee was front and center. Bumblebee was the hero. Bumblebee was the person everyone was supposed to relate to. And as soon as they introduce Bumblebee, what happens? Drift puts him in a headlock and gives him noogies. And Hound calls him Hound's like, John Goodman goes, Bumblebee's a big pussy. I'm just like, what? What's going on here?
Well, because he is in this film. He's just a temper tantrum throwing car.
Yeah, well, and again, they said, we still need a Shia LaBeouf. We need this hyperactive, entitled, obnoxious kid, and we're going to put Bumblebee in that role this time.
I can...
At least he can't talk.
No.
Still can't talk. Son of a...
No, I meant if he was going to act like Shia.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, God. That would be the worst insult in the Transformers live-action film history.
What happened is...
Twice.
What happened is they didn't kill Sam. They put his consciousness in Bumblebee.
It's... Michael,
that's harsh.
Michael, it's Autobot Spike all over again. Oh my
It's
God,
Autobot
make it
Spike.
stop! Make it stop! No. Here's what really should have happened. The biggest insult in the world: fire him from live action part of it, but make him the voice of Bumblebee. Yeah, I know. I kind of felt, I was kind of on B's side here a little bit. I mean, they basically, copied him, and the humans improved on him and whatever else. So I kind of liked his little temper tantrum. I mean, granted, he's about it, he's pretty much at, they reverted him back to the Terrible 2 stage, but at least it was a little bit comical.
I can understand that. I mean, from that point of view, he's been copied. He's upset. I get it. But in the desert, and apparently all the Autobots are in the same desert, just waiting for someone to go, heed the call of the last prime. In the desert, they all get together and immediately start in on Bumblebee. Just like, I'm thinking, wow, I thought he was the hero, and everybody loves Bumblebee. And, even Jazz, who, in the first movie, who, by all means, should have been the one picking on Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Because,
well, I think what happened is they're all ridiculing him for hanging out with Sam.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll buy that. All right,
I'll buy that
they know
for
what
him.
he's been up to for the last few years, and they're making fun of him.
Once you put Dan O'Connor in a robot body, that's absolutely amazing. Is having John Goodman as Hound, I wasn't sure how that was gonna work.
It's just John Goodman,
but it friggin' works.
I can't get over it. It's just John Goodman. I don't see Hound.
No,
I see John Goodman in his big Dan O'Connor, plaid shirt jumping over, shooting Decepticons.
No,
he's sitting there going, Roseanne.
Exactly.
No, yeah, but Hound was amazing. I would have liked Drift better if they had actually made him more the IDW Drift than anything else. Because
how do you know he's not?
Because he doesn't look the same.
No, it's not. It's not the look. Yeah, it's kind of the look, but that's not really my main thing. In the comic, he is very spiritual. He is very samurai-like. Mm-hmm. He's just not Ken Watanabe samurai-like in the comic. He's not like that. He's
not reciting haiku.
No, at least I don't remember him doing any of that. It's just one of those things where Drift, I didn't really like. John Goodman was the character for me this movie.
You know what would have made me happy?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Fagerbakke.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's like, you know what? We're not calling him Hound.
No.
We're calling him Bulkhead.
If they're going to use Bulkhead.
He sounds like a certain starfish.
No.
Well, then Bumblebee would have to go,
hey, Prime, what's going on?
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. No.
I can't do it.
If they were gonna do Bulkhead, they should have gotten KMR. I mean, hell, he was in the second one as
right.
Prime.
Yeah, I'll buy that, sure, but
okay.
To me, that guy didn't look like a Hound. He looked like a Bulkhead.
A little bit, yeah.
But John Goodman, come on, give it up.
Yeah, it's John friggin' Goodman. You can't say anything bad about that. I love what they did. I don't necessarily love the Okay, I don't love the characterization at all. It's the worst characterization of the character ever.
Of who?
But you'll see.
Okay.
I love that Michael Bay finally came to his senses, at least for the first 10 minutes of the movie, once the character shows up, and actually used the no-nose cab for Optimus. I friggin' loved that.
Oh, the G1?
Yes, I friggin' love that. On the other hand, though, Optimus is not even a dick in this movie. Optimus has
a complete asshole.
No. Yeah, I'm
murder, kill Optimus. You mean?
Yeah. Yes. Well, here's the thing.
When I find him,
We will kill him.
He's like, I took a vow never to harm a human,
And then
but
he goes,
that fucker's dead.
and blows him away.
It's just one of those things where he's not a dick. He's not an asshole. He's worse than what a dick and an asshole would be.
No, I mean he's still. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes? I hope to God Peter Cullen does not defend this movie.
Peter Cullen should have abstained from this role.
I know.
When he
thought he would have been like,
Peter
"Thanks
Cullen
for noticing me."
Exactly. Peter Cullen's reading the script, and the first thing Optimus Prime says is, "I'll kill you all." It's like, wait a minute, is this Prime? And Michael Bay says, "Well, that's not G1 Prime. That's Give Me Your Face Prime." And Peter Cullen goes, "Well, I don't remember." I was like, "No, remember this? In the last movie, you said, 'Give me your face.' You don't remember that? Oh, okay, all right."
This movie doesn't have Optimus Prime versus Galvatron. This movie
has Megatron versus.
Shut up! You took my line, you asshole!
You're killing it.
You're killing the line. It has Megatron versus Galvatron. Honestly, is what Optimus has turned into. He has turned into Megatron.
I don't want to go that far, but I want to say he's not the same leader, and I don't know if it's because he was killed and out of commission for a long time. But he goes out in the desert and he says, "Heed the call of the last Prime." And all the other Autobots that are left over pop out of the woodwork in the desert, and they're all picking on Bumblebee. And what does Prime say? Prime's like, "Yeah, I had that problem with Bumblebee." You know, it's like, well, what is that supposed to mean? Is Bumblebee giving hand jobs to guys in cars? I'm confused. I don't know where we're going with this. But
he needed fuel.
Yeah, but is Optimus Prime standing up and saying, "I'm your leader, and you will do as I say, and the first thing I'm telling you to do is quit fucking with Bumblebee"? You know? No, he doesn't. He's just like he's bad mouthing Bumblebee.
He's like, "Take him back to the forest."
It's like, "Wake up the Gimp." The Gimp's sleeping. Wake him up. Oh, I just screwed that one, didn't I? Yeah, but I didn't feel that this was written. The word I'm going to say.
I liked the concept.
I'm going to say Autobotly. They weren't written very Autobotly.
Well,
the characters
I think the
weren't
concept
noble.
was.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay.
Go, Steve.
Sorry for interrupting. No, I think the concept was there, but I totally agree with you that the Autobot element was totally absent.
Yeah.
I mean, they kill Ratchet the first 5 seconds of the movie.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they get to that point and you see the decapitated Ratchet, and I'm like, well, where the hell did he die?
How did you not see Ratchet being killed? That was so graphic.
Yeah.
He's having his arms and legs blown off. He's begging for his life. He's like, "Whoa, I'm an Autobot. Why are you killing me? Oh, God." You know?
I mean, to the degree that they all kind of blur over.
No, that was great. I was like, holy shit, they are murdering Ratchet. I was really shocked. I mean, when they killed Ironhide, I was like, wow, man, they killed Ironhide. That kind of sucks. But this isn't just, oh shit, I've been shot and I'm dead. This is like torture porn. You know, I mean, they're like
they could have at least said such heroic nonsense.
That would have been funny, actually. Yeah, that would have been funny. But yeah, again, they killed off Ratchet, and I was like, wow, that's heavy. And I didn't mind waiting another 45 minutes for more robots because I was still hurting from Ratchet. Seriously, that was tough. I was like, wow.
The Bay butt hurt.
The Bay exactly. Our butt hurts. But now, who else was confused with the dinosaurs in the beginning? The movie starts off with dinosaurs. The movie ends with dinosaurs, but they're not the same dinosaurs.
Yeah,
in fact, they have no explanation whatsoever as to why the dinosaurs at the end are even dinosaurs.
Well, they didn't even show Transformers scanning them and then just going in inactivity.
Well, exactly. They just came out of the ship like, hey, look at the size of us, man. What does it matter that what we turn into? And then suddenly they're dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. They could have turned into, like in the Unicron trilogy, they had the Gargantuan planet, or the planet where everybody was giant, so they have Metroplex and Menasor, and they could have just been really big ass vehicles, like a Bagger 288 or something, and that would have been cool. But no, they turned into giant dinosaurs. I don't mind. It's cool. I waited 2.5 hours to see it. I was happy with it, but I still don't know why. It makes no sense.
No.
Well, the whole ordeal was stupid on the execution because you have the Autobots fighting, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, let's get reinforcements. And then they go out, and then all of a sudden they're in this rainforest releasing Autobots.
Or the Dinobots.
I'm sorry, Dinobots. And then they're following Prime back in robot mode.
Yeah.
And then he's like, we have to earn their trust. And then Grimlock transforms and they start beating the shit out of each other.
That's how you earn their trust. You gotta beat the shit out of them.
But they were following him out. So it made no damn sense. They should have been fighting him from the get-go.
Well, no.
The thing Grimlock say, why you wake me up? Because you're my bitch and I want you to work for me.
Well, that's basically what I got, was they walk out and they're all walking together and it's like, hey, thanks for letting us out. But then he's like, you will now be my bitch. And Grimlock goes, me no bitch, me king. And then they fight. And then, whoa, me sorry, me your bitch. So, okay, now I'm going to ride you like a bitch. Get over here.
Oh, God. You just combined Grimlock, Optimus Prime, and Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Get over
here.
Finish him.
Give me your face. It's just one of those things where the Dinobots were poorly used.
Well, and the fact they were in the last 7 minutes of the film.
Yeah, they were poorly used. It's great that they transformed, but at least give them several lines. I mean, not to say that Greg Berger doesn't have an amazing career.
They didn't have any line. They didn't talk.
I know that. I've seen the movie. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to have them transform between dinosaur and robot, at least the least you can do for fan service is to get Greg Berger and at least get Michael Bell to do Grimlock and Swoop.
I was fine with them not talking.
I mean, it didn't overall.
I mean, would you have been happier if instead of the giant roar, Grimlock would have said, "Me Grimlock, no bitch, me Grimlock King," and then get the smackdown from Optimus Prime? I don't think I would have been happier in that regard.
Me Grimlock been pantsed.
No, I would have been. I would have been happy
in
with the line, "Me Grimlock need new strategy."
Technically, they didn't even name him.
I know.
They didn't. They came off the ship and they said, "Look at the size of me, man. I'm huge. You want some help?" And you gotta kick my ass first.
Well, they only have two of the Dinobots' names.
Yeah.
Correct. And they have Grimlock and Slug.
Mm-hmm.
Which is Slag.
Slag, yeah, you can't say Slag anymore. And
then they have Strafe and Scorn.
Yeah.
Well, Scorn,
that's the other two.
Scorn. There was no Dimetrodon. I guess that's what he is.
The Pteranodon. That's the flying one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They turned that one into Strafe, which could have easily been.
Well, they gave him two heads, so I don't care if they changed his name.
But
that's fine.
Scorn was basically Snarl.
No. They have a Stegosaur. I'm sorry. They don't have a Stegosaur in the movie. They put a Stegosaur in the toy line.
Yeah,
and he looks pretty cool. But I mean, Scorn is not a. He's not a Stegosaur. He's a Dimetrodon.
Mm.
He's a finback.
Whatever.
I'm not sure if Dimetrodons are supposed to have sharp teeth, though. I don't know.
You know, I really don't want to be this guy, but I'm going to be this guy. These are not my Dinobots. And it's not just me saying it because of G1 at all, because the animated Dinobots were 10 times better than these things.
Yeah. So it's like flat truck, not nose.
Flat truck, not flat. You know, I'm gonna argue another point here is I've seen the SDCC exclusive set for the Dinobots.
Mm-hmm.
It's $300 and I want it so bad I can taste it. It's literally.
Why are you arguing this point?
Because you're saying, oh, these aren't my Dinobots.
I'm saying
you know what?
in
you
the film
colors and you put them in an exclusive set with a cardboard arc, and you're gonna want one.
Well, I'm not saying that these aren't cool as hell. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the means.
Okay.
Because I know that they're gonna do what they're gonna do for the film. That's that's just fact.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I don't care that they don't look like the originals. I think that the utilization of the characters was kind of piss poor in this film. Is more or less what I think about it. I don't think that.
What's the alternative, though? You have them show up a half an hour early and talk about it for half an hour?
Well,
but they could have just, they could have released them and then they just went rampant on the city and started thrashing both sides.
Well,
that would have been cool.
Here's the thing. Optimus Prime pulled the Dinobots out of his ass, literally. He basically had one of Swindle's personal space bridges, like in Animated, where Optimus jumped out of Swindle's chest. Optimus Prime in this movie took the Dinobots and pulled them out of his ass because he kept mumbling about some legend. Oh, the legend is true. Oh, what the fuck is the damn legend? How about telling us that part of the story before you just go find dinosaurs? Give us some sort of plot exposition.
I will take the.
And he knew where these were the whole time.
No, they were there on the prison ship. They don't. I mean, the reason Prime was on that ship is because it was the prison hold. There were other aliens in there. Hound went in and shot a bunch of them for the hell of it.
But
you spit on me, die.
Right, but
not Autobotly.
No. Well, here's the thing, though. Prime kept saying, "Oh, the legend must be true. Oh, the legend must be true." What the fuck is the legend?
What legend? Nice? Spend the first 5 minutes of the movie telling us about the legend and why they would possibly be on lockdown ship. As opposed to showing us small dinosaurs that have nothing to do with the rest of the movie getting nuked.
Yep.
The beginning and ending, the very beginning and the very ending of Revenge of the Fallen was a better explanation for the Fallen than this movie was for the damn Dinobots. Like, I can actually believe the Fallen came to Earth, back in Egyptian times, destroyed everything. They destroyed him, etc., 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 and then he comes back, billions of years later. This had zero. The humans were like, "Oh, let's go try to find robotic dinosaurs in the Antarctic or wherever the hell they were." It's like, hey, that dinosaur lives right next to Rudolph's pen in Santa's workshop, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, the abominable snowman found him.
Pickaxe or whatever the hell his name was.
That's a
switching.
Go ahead.
Well, switching gears from the Dinobots onto something less heated.
Okay, sure.
I think this film went kind of the route of Avatar.
God.
In this one aspect.
What?
Well, Avatar had randomonium. This film has transformium.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. I've been watching The Last Airbender lately.
And you're thinking the real Avatar.
Exactly, and you threw me off completely. I was like,
sorry,
the one by M. Night Shyamalan? Because that was horrible.
Well, I wasn't talking that piece of shit either.
Yeah.
But
you're talking about the Unobtainium.
Yeah.
Yes, Unobtainium, that's what it was.
The Transformium. Honestly, if I had discovered the metal that Transformers were made out of, I probably would have called it Transformium too. Or Cybertronium. That would have been.
I would have called it Cybertronium or Autobotly.
Autobotlionium is what I would have gone.
No.
Yeah. Why does all the elements have to end in onium?
It would be
Autobotly.
Damn.
He lost it.
Autobotly molecule.
This is a molecule of Autobotlium. Look at the way it twirls and dances in the air for no freaking reason. I don't get it. Which leads me to tornado transformations.
Which means, how do you kill them?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're shooting at them, and they just kind of split apart into molecules. And there was a lot of cutting off of heads. They were like zombies in that regard. You can take off their head.
Except for one.
They can't. Which one?
Galvatron.
They didn't take off Galvatron's head. I mean, he started off as a head. He was ahead.
Megatron.
He was ahead of his time. You should have stopped
while he was being played
ahead.
With brains.
It was, poor Brains is in a jar going, shit, man. I can't do this voice justice because it's retarded.
I am so glad they brought Brains back without Wheelie. As much as I love Tom Kenny as Wheelie, as the voice of Wheelie, I'm just
He went to go hang out with Michaela.
Yeah, on her leg.
Yeah.
Notice there was no leg humping.
Yeah.
There was no leg humping in this movie.
Well, see, that was
Wheelie.
that was the good thing about the movie. They basically Michael Bay took what was horrible about Revenge of the Fallen, which is Leo, put it in this other character who is Cade's best friend, and killed him within the first 5 minutes. Amazing!
I loved how they incinerated him.
They didn't kill him fast enough. I'm like, you know what? This guy, if he's gonna end up like Shia LaBeouf's roommate, I'm gonna be pissed and then he's dead.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they were gonna do like the Simmons type thing and have him hang around for comedic relief.
No.
Drop
and then getting him watched, the seed thing going off and he just goes and then he's just solid metal.
He was really messed up, and they lingered on it. They're like looking at him for a full 2 minutes, like, look how messed up he is. He's all melted and shit. We really have to absorb this and see just what happens when a human gets shot by a transformer.
They're like, this is serious shit.
This is some serious shit here, man.
The tornado transformations were just weird.
I didn't like it. I
didn't either.
It's like I like it when a transformer shifts and discombobulates and turns into something else. But this was like literally like, I don't want to say a Tasmanian devil, like a dust cloud, but
no,
it was
it was
cloud
like the Digimon effect.
Oh, I hate to agree, man.
Digimon, Digisize into monsters.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool when all the molecules came back together, but as they were shifting, it wasn't like a moving of parts. It was more like a little tornado of molecules soaring through the air and then coming back together. And as it became a silhouette that coalesced into a robot, it was like, well, that's kind of cool. But in between the silhouette of a robot and the silhouette of something else, it just kind of looked dumb.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pleased.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Steve.
I want to hear what Steve has to say.
I was going to say, the one saving grace for me in this entire film is Galvatron.
Yeah.
Because you have him kind of playing the chords from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And, not only is he another science experiment for the second time,
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of the early G2 G.I. Joe crossover comics where the damaged Megatron in gun form strikes a deal with Cobra.
Yeah.
That he'll give Cybertronian technology in exchange for them building a new body that he gives the blueprints for.
Yeah.
Which essentially is what he's done here.
Well, what I like, Megatron, is that you? Here's a hint. Smash.
Well, I love how they thought they were controlling him, and
yeah, and he just starts killing people left and right.
Well, and then he talks.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Can he do that?"
Is he supposed to do that?
No. Well, he's Megatron, dumbass.
Is he supposed to sound like Dr. Claw?
That's terrible.
Don't get me wrong. I actually loved Welker as Galvatron. I think what this movie was it's more of a setup for futures than anything else because you have the humans versus the Transformers versus the humans. You basically have Kelsey Grammer, Fraser Crane, Beast as the more villainous side of Simmons. And Galvatron is pretty much, as you guys said, he's pretty much pulling the strings behind the scenes. I'm hoping that in the next one he will be more center stage.
And I'm hoping they don't go on the method of killing off Prime and Megatron or Galvatron constantly in the film, and then going, "Oh, they're magically back."
Oh God! Did you guys see that fake news story
about Rodimus?
Yes.
Bring Ultra Magnus in.
You didn't see that fake news story, Michael?
No. What's it?
There was a fake news story recently where
someone was interviewing Michael Bay.
Yeah.
and he said, "Oh yeah, the next movie totally is going to have Unicron, and we're going to kill off Optimus Prime and bring in Hot Rod."
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? This probably is real. Because he already introduced Galvatron, and it's like, you know what? I'd be upset if the next movie didn't have a Unicron. If he just didn't say, you know what? I'm jumping the fucking shark. I'm bringing in Unicron. I'm bringing in Hot Rod. I'm bringing in girl Transformers. I don't care. We're gonna throw it all in there and see what sticks to the wall.
I think they may bring in the Quintessons.
Yeah, who do you guys?
They totally alluded to that too, because remember in the beginning of the movie when they showed the dinosaurs, the ships come in and they're not Transformer ships. There's weird looking wheels in space, and they showed the weird tentacle arm pulling the trigger that shot the missiles that hit that turned all the dinosaurs into Transformium. And I'm like, well, whose arm is that? Because that doesn't look like a Transformer arm. That looks like an organic arm.
Yeah.
Junkions, anyone? You watch TV?
I hope it's not Junkions.
If they do bring in Hot Rod, I'm hoping. If they do, and I'm not saying I want them. I just, I agree with Proto Man. I actually don't want them to bring Hot Rod into the movies, but if they do, he has to. I don't care what he thinks. I don't care what Michael Bay thinks of, star billing casting or, top star billing casting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In order for me to see Hot Rod in these movies, he has to either get Judd Nelson or Dick Gaudier.
Nah, Judd Nelson.
Either or would be fine with me.
Go with the original.
No, and I'm not...
Just like Ultra Magnus.
Hey, as long as we're going to talk about using the right voice actors, is there any reason why Lance Henriksen couldn't come in to do Lockdown? Because that would have sealed it for me.
Yeah.
It's like Lockdown from animated, just dead on. And I'm gonna get on my soapbox here. Marty Eisenberg deserves a check, a big fucking check, like millions, because we'll look at animated.
You created them.
We'll look at animated. Transformers animated. Megatron was destroyed and fell to Earth as a head. The head took over the lab that he was in, became conscious, took over the lab, and manipulated behind the scenes to get himself a new body in animated.
That's right.
Right, Bulkhead, right, was, again, a Hound, Bulkhead, same damn thing, except without John Goodman. Both of them, the movie and Transformers Animated, did use the spinny cloud transformations, which a lot of hardcore fans were kind of pissed off about because they don't want to see Bumblebee spin around and turn into a car.
Mm-hmm.
And hello, Lockdown.
Yeah.
Lance Henriksen made that role. He owned that role.
Mm-hmm.
And that came directly out of Animated. And Animated also had Dinobots, but not in the same way because Animated handled them well.
Yeah.
The movie didn't.
No.
So Marty Eisenberg needs a great big fat check. Maybe like residuals.
Absolutely. All right, so I guess we should probably get into our final thoughts on the Bayverse overall.
On the Bayverse?
Overall, yes.
Oh, crime. It's so hard because, like I said, you got 3 movies that are all about Shia LaBeouf, and they made gads of money, but they were terrible. And then you got this movie, which still made gads of money, but it didn't have Shia LaBeouf, and therefore wasn't as terrible, in my opinion.
Funny thing is it got a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
This film.
This one?
Yes.
What did
it's
the
the lowest
others
ranking. What's that?
What did the others get?
Tell me Dark of the Moon got better than 17%. That's bullshit.
They all got better than 17%.
No.
Age of Extinction got the lowest.
The Moon?
They all got better than this film.
I defy anyone on the street to tell me that this movie was worse than Dark of the Moon.
No, you mean Revenge of the Fallen?
No, I'm talking Dark of the Moon, the one with all the dog humping and the one that actually didn't have writers.
That's
Revenge of the
Fallen.
Ah, damn it! I'm getting that fucked up again.
Dark of the Moon was the third one. That one was
Dark
actually
of the Moon was
decent.
the Pillars. Dark of the Moon was the space race.
Yeah. That's the one with Spock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy that. Yeah.
That's the one where Spock went crazy.
I'm sorry, Darker Than. Yeah, you're right. Now, Revenge of the Fallen was the terrible one.
Yes.
That didn't have a good writer. Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
We go to Transformer heaven when we die. What the?
I know.
I want to go there too.
Didn't we just talk about this?
Yeah.
Surprised it slipped my mind so quickly, but yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, the Revenge of the Fallen was not a better movie than this.
And the sad thing is,
terrible.
Revenge of the Fallen and Age of Extinction both have the same goddamn singular writer. In Aaron Kruger.
He was one of the writer credits for Revenge of the Fallen. He was the only writing credit for Dark of the Moon.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's the only writing credit for Age of Extinction.
Right, but because of the writer's strike at the time, Revenge of the Fallen, Orsi and Kurtzman did like the first 5 minutes of that, and then the rest
Kruger and then Bay.
Right. Well,
Bay.
That's
Bay said I could do this. Look, I'm doing it.
Okay, here's the ratings. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Tell me.
Okay. Transformers 2007 has a 57%. Revenge of the Fallen has 19.
Oh.
Dark of the Moon has 36, and Age of Extinction has 17.
Bullshit. Honestly, I would have given this one around 59. At least even with the first movie. Because the first movie, even though it had Sam Witwicky, it was new, it was fresh, we'd never seen it before. And they kept it trim, they kept it tight. It made you want to see more. And at the very least, the second movie gave you more. Even though it was a terrible movie. By the time you get to the third movie, they're starting to cannibalize cartoon plot lines, and they heavily showcase the Spock angle. It's like,
well,
I'll buy that. As a guy who likes Star Trek, as a guy who likes Transformers, as a guy who liked the G1 cartoon, sure, it all kind of came together for me, and I would have given it a 36%, But Age of Extinction deserves more than 17%. I enjoyed it. I would.
It should have ranked higher than Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should have at least been in the 20s if they were going to rank it that low.
At least as high as Dark of the Moon.
But I think one of the saving graces for Dark of the Moon is the fact that you had Leonard Nimoy, who denied his voice as Galvatron, but he's okay being a Sentinel Prime.
He was also part of Bumblebee's voice,
and he was part of Unicron.
And what?
In the original.
Oh no, I'm talking about in the movie.
Yeah.
There was a quote from Spock that came out as Bumblebee. There was a scene from Star Trek that was in the movie. I think Brains was watching Star Trek at one point.
Yeah. It was Brains and Wheelie were watching it at the beginning, and they were like, "What one's this?" "That's the one Spock went nuts."
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, don't give it away or nothing.
And I was like, "Oh, I know what's happening in this film."
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I liked that. It was playful. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as ridiculous as the second movie, and sure, 17% up to 36%, but Age of Extinction was not silly. It was. I mean,
it was deep, like heavy. Like
it was heavy. I wouldn't say deep, but
I don't mean
heavy.
like deep in that sense. I meant like deep shit, but.
It was definitely a heavy metal war for the fourth film.
Yeah, it was definitely that. The only thing that kind of bothers me about the Bayverse is every film they have to have a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that. I mean, because every film does, but
at least this MacGuffin
they magically pull a new one out of their ass. The first film, it's the Allspark. Okay, that's something new. All right. Revenge of the Fallen, it's the Matrix. Okay, we've all heard of that. Age of Extinction, or not, Dark of the Moon, we have the Pillars. Age of Extinction, we have the Magic Transformium.
No, the Seed.
The
MacGuffin
Seed.
was the Seed, and the Seed was going to create the Transformium that Megatron was going to use to make his new Decepticon army, which made perfect sense to me. I thought I thought it was a good MacGuffin. I wasn't going to complain about it.
I would make Dark Mount on Earth.
Here's the thing. The first film, it didn't really pull from anything, because that was kind of the point Michael Bay made in all those, preview before the movie interviews. He's like, yeah, we know about the fans. Yeah, we don't care about the fans. I'm going to make the movie how I think it makes sense.
Yeah,
and that includes
that's all me,
parents, that includes parents who are just completely unrelatable, parents who are completely annoying. The second film rips off Megatron's Space Needle from G1. The third film is basically the ultimate Doom three-parter, where they bring Cybertron to Earth.
Okay.
The fourth film, like we've already said in this episode of the podcast, is basically the entire first 2 seasons of animated when it's concerned with Lockdown and the Dinobots. What I want to see out of the next one is
Unicron.
I want to see Michael Bay step down, become an executive producer, and every interview I've ever seen with Spielberg say that he has such a love for the franchise. I want to see a Spielberg-directed Transformers. I know it'll probably never fucking happen because Michael Bay won't let go of the robotic dick, but I just...
It's called a money bag, bitch.
I just want to see somebody... Michael Bay needs to go ahead and make Bad Boys 3, and then, give us that, and give us another movie that isn't Pain and Gain. Give us something else. Give us Armageddon 2 for Christ's sake. I don't know. Something else other than giant. Like, at this point, Michael Bay is known for making giant robot movies. He's not known for The Island or for the bad... I mean, sure, we know him as that, and we know him as that director, but he, 4 movies in,
yeah,
he's the Transformers director. Nobody else can have the keys to Optimus Prime.
I'm sorry, but they need to switch it up.
They do.
I think, and it's not just that. I think they need to kick Kruger off too. I think they need to have a whole new team because I mean,
But would the movie make $1 jillion?
Well, if they did that. And I know they're going to keep the money bags, and so they're like, these guys make us money. We're going to go with them again.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it to an extent. But look at the Star Trek films, like the olden day ones, not the bullshit that's now. But they switched directors and writers every film, which helped the series grow.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that you need to have... Like, I agree with Steve. You need to get Aaron Kruger out of there. I'm not saying you need to have a writer that's I'm not saying you need more fan interpretation at all. I'm saying you need a competent writer that's going to write a script that makes sense for everybody.
Okay.
I know if you put a fan in charge of the writing, regardless of what Michael Bay does to butcher the fan fiction, it's just one of those things that is not a good thing. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, put somebody in there that actually knows how to write. You know what? Honestly, I would have loved to see a Shane Black. I would love to see a Transformers Lethal Weapon. That's what I'd love to see right there.
I could see that actually working.
Yeah, I know, right?
The sad thing.
I know, right? All right.
Oh wait, hold on. Wait, before we go, there was something that I alluded to at the beginning that I just remembered, and that was the Chinese product placement.
Oh, okay.
This movie made as much money in China as it did in the U.S. on its opening weekend because of the Chinese product placement. And you might not have even noticed it, but it was there and it was blatant. It was horrible. You have a scene in China. This is weird because you go to Hong Kong, and suddenly you see Stanley Tucci drinking a juice box. He just randomly picks up a juice box and starts drinking it. And he's nervous. Maybe he's just thirsty. But you can see the label on the front of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is similar to when Cade, or Marky Mark, is in Chicago and reaches over and just grabs a beer off the ground. Because, as everyone knows, in Chicago, the ground is littered with beer. And you can just pick one up. And he just starts...
It's magically delicious!
He just starts chugging it before he tries to murder somebody. But we... or in America, we know what an MGD can looks like. We don't know what Chinese juice box looks like. At one point, somebody grabs a water, and you can read the label in their hand as they're chugging the water. And I'm like, okay, so we have water placement. We have juice placement. America has beer placement. I don't know what that says about us, but okay. Then there's a scene. Lockdown ship is sucking all of these boats up into the sky, and the cars are trying to get away. They're stuck on the freeway there on the bridge, and this guy is in a convertible just playing his guitar. Just like, why is this guy playing a guitar? There's this Chinese guy playing a guitar with like hot Chinese chicks in the back. Why is he in the movie? Who is this guy? Well, it turns out he's a Chinese rock star. This is like you're watching Transformers 1 and Bumblebee drives down the road and Bon Jovi is just playing his guitar in a convertible, and he looks over and goes, "Hey, nice Camaro." No one's driving it, but hey, look, and then he starts playing, "'Cause I'm a cowboy." And then Bumblebee drives off. And does that make sense? No. But we're not Chinese. We don't know what's going. We don't understand why this guy's playing a guitar. It's just like, well, it's Michael Bay.
Gojira!
Well, exactly. Michael Bay likes this guy, I guess. There's a funny scene. I'm still writing out product placement.
Wait. You mentioned Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
If you switch that song and make it the big time song from Armageddon, bingo, there's double product placement for Bon Jovi in 2 Michael Bay movies.
It's like Shia LaBeouf having Bad Boys 2 posters on his wall. But and then lastly, the one that I did recognize was I don't remember his name offhand, but there's a scene where Stanley Tucci is in an elevator in this building, and the bad guys are coming to get him, and what's her name? Lily Bing?
His assistant, yeah.
His assistant. I forget her name, but she's a famous Chinese actress. And she tells him, "Wait in this elevator. I'm going to go kick these guys' ass." She doesn't say that, but she tries. And she's trying, and it looks like she's got the better of them. But these guys are really starting to get the upper hand on her. And the guy in the elevator who Stanley Tucci is talking to, who has no idea what the hell Stanley Tucci is saying because he doesn't speak English. He's just like looking at him like, "Hey, I'm just a guy in the elevator, I'm here for comic relief because you're looking at me and talking to me and I have no idea what the hell you're saying." He then comes out and he's a ninja. And he kicks everybody's ass. You know why? Because he's a Chinese action hero star.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of Arnold Schwarzenegger randomly being in an elevator and coming out and just laying waste to all the bodyguards.
You know what? Honestly, it would have been better if Brains was in the elevator with Hal Sparks, a la Spider-Man 2. He's like, "I'm Spider-Man." "Okay, yeah, sure you are. Nice costume, kid."
That's but I mean, again, it's the product placement.
Yeah,
it's not just products. It's not just like bear, little, yellow, different. You know? It's people. We're putting people in there. We're not just putting actors in there who Chinese people will recognize. We're putting people in Chinese culture. We're adding their rock stars. We're adding their superheroes. We're adding their they're the Olympic athletes, and we're putting them into movies where they'll be like, "Hey, that's our guy. He's in Hong Kong, and this movie's based in Hong Kong, and it's awesome." Even though a lot of the Hong Kong scenes were actually filmed in Chicago.
Yeah, Age of Extinction would have been so much better if that ninja had been Jackie Chan.
Is Jackie Chan Chinese?
I don't know. Overall,
you're right.
This doesn't matter. Still, he's an action star.
Well, I want to make one last point on some of the stupidity things of the Transformers.
Go ahead.
The second film where you have the robots that can turn into chicks. Why don't they use that pretender technology to create their own companies and kind of work undercover and then bring all their Transformers to Earth instead of letting humans run them? And then 2, with having the pixelated Transformers,
Pixelformers
from Digimon,
Digiformers.
I just don't see how the series is going to, I mean, granted, it was at least partially grounded in the fact that these are alien robots, and then now that they can create things out of nothing, and then they can disperse and can't really be destroyed, it's like, how do you actually kill them now? It's like Star Trek Into Darkness and Khan Superblood. Nobody ever dies anymore. So
I saw a lot of heads getting ripped off. I'm gonna go with they will die. I'm gonna go with next movie.
Unless they disperse first.
No, the next movie, Prime comes back. He's being chased by a planet that's being driven by Quintessons, and he runs into Galvatron when he gets back and says, "We must join forces, or giant space planets will eat us." And then they join forces, and then at the end, once Prime lights everyone's darkest hour, then he cuts off Megatron's head again. Because why not?
And then they'll sing the Stan Bush parody. We grabbed your nuts.
We grabbed your nuts. We grabbed your scrotum. Yeah.
The one thing that I really, I know it'll never happen because I know it's not practical for live action effects. I would love it if Michael Bay did one homage to the space cannon for Galvatron. So,
yeah, there you go.
The Bayverse. I'm happy that these movies is as bad as they are for us fans, for most of us fans. I'm happy that it's keeping the brand alive. It's making money for Hasbro, so Hasbro can keep churning out crappy toys like Kronos.
Don't even get me started on the toys.
No, we're not. We don't have time for that. We'll do that another time. It's just one of those things where I'm happy that the franchise is very much alive. I do look forward to each new film, especially now that we have a fresh new cast. I really am looking forward to the next one.
You think they'll use the same cast again? I mean, they've already proven they can switch it up and not have any, aside from 70%
well, they're
on
going to use
Tomatoes,
Marky Mark
not
again.
have any repercussions.
Yeah.
Why would they use Marky Mark?
Why wouldn't they?
What does he have at this point to give us?
Who knows?
What does he have to show us?
Gives Optimus Prime hope with pep talks from Texas. I'm sorry.
You've now offended an entire state. Way to go.
I've done worse.
Well, offending an entire state is better than offending an entire country.
I've done the country and the religion thing, so that would just be adding something smaller to my
Notice
palette.
I didn't make fun of any of the Chinese product placements because there's like a billion Chinese people.
Yeah, I almost pulled the same thing,
this
although I did Gojira. So
Gojira. Actually, I think that's
every
Japanese.
time every time
I'm sorry, I'm an asshole.
Every time
Gojira doesn't mean anything in Chinese. I think that's Japanese.
Gojira.
You're safe.
Every time you mention that the label was out so people could see what the label was, all as I can think of is friggin' Einhorn laces out from Ace Ventura.
Finkel is Einhorn.
Einhorn is Finkel. All right. Coming up next on All Things Transformers. Next time around, we're going to be talking about Transformers in comics and video games.
Woo.
Yep. Take it away, Steve.
So, thank you for listening to All Things Transformers, and we'll catch you next time.
Unless I catch you first.
All right. That's...
With Megatron's pants around his ankles.
God, I hope you recorded that.
I don't think it's a truck at all. I think we just found a transformer.